This video is sponsored by Alcid E-Homes, whose mission it is to accelerate the advent of sustainable, healthy living systems around the world. Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 87. Tesla is still ramping up in China, and it's kinda nuts. Ford CEO says it's show, not tell time. And GM thinks they are a tremendous growth story. And the Ford Mach E fails a safety test. And we're getting a fuel station in space. And if you're waiting for the affordable EV, well, you're gonna wanna watch this new show. All this and much more to come on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla is ramping up production like crazy even before the two new factories goes online. Even though Fremont has freed up a lot of supply for the US market because they don't export as much anymore because of Shanghai's big ramp up and they're pretty much taking over the export to Europe. Well, Tesla is still pretty much sold out for the rest of the year in the US on almost every model, some even out to February and March next year. This just shows you the big demand Tesla has. Tesla still sells every single car they make. And if true, this rumor from an unnamed insider of the production rate of the Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai said that the production rate of the Model Y has hit 1,600 units per day. This means that Tesla China production capacity with no downtime will be over 580,000 units per year. And then we can add on the production from the Model 3, which is 800 units per day. So they have about 875,000 units in production capacity for the China factory alone right now. So that is about as much as Tesla will probably produce in total this year. Their one factory will be able to do that all by itself next year. Of course, without no downtime, and that will of course happen, but still, this is some crazy numbers. But it all adds up to Elon's prediction of the Model Y getting to about 1.5 million in production in 2023. Because if the Gigafactory 3 will be able to produce over 500,000 Model Ys already today, surely Berlin and Texas will easily be able to do that as well when ramped up in 2023. They will probably have even higher run rates of those factories because they will use 2 casting instead of 1 and use all they learned from building the Gigafactory 3 and make Berlin and Texas even better and more efficient. So 1.5 million Model Ys in 2023 doesn't sound too crazy anymore if they are already at that production rate in Shanghai. Man, Tesla is just making everyone else look like they're standing still. And it looks like there might be something to the rumor because we also see more talks about the production in September ending up with 52,000 units. Now that is a high number, and we did see Tesla China celebrate the end of the Q3, so probably because they think they did a well job. But we did get the production and delivery numbers from Tesla yesterday, and Tesla produced 238,000 cars and delivered 241,000. So yet another record-breaking quarter, up 17% from Q2, that was up 14% from Q1. Tesla is just ramping up like crazy even before the 2 new factories come online. So pretty much every other automaker is down in Q3, and Tesla is actually up over 73% from Q3 2020. Amazing. And what would that even mean for the Q4? Man, Tesla is growing so fast it's hard to keep up, and no one really is. Remember, Ford will have produced about 150,000 of their Ford F-150 Lightning cumulated by the end of 2024. And Tesla Model Y will probably be making 1.5 million cars in 2023 alone. Only the Model Y. Yeah, Ford is not leading anything, but they are out again talking big about EVs. It is show, not tell time. Ford is building a plant in the US to produce 1 million EVs a year and batteries at the site as well. Of course, Ford doesn't make their own batteries, but is partnering up with a battery manufacturer, SK Innovation. So what Ford is doing here is kind of what Tesla did with Panasonic a decade ago. But glad to see they're learning and changing their tune from only a couple of years ago when making its own batteries was a stupid idea. But the mainstream media seems to think Ford's new plan here is a big deal. It is Ford's biggest auto manufacturer plant to date and will produce up to 1 million EVs when fully ramped up. Well, Tesla is about to finish a little factory in Texas that the mainstream media doesn't seem to hype as much, but the Tesla plant is going to be able to produce 2 to 3 times more EVs per year than Ford's and is close to being done. Ford will not start production in their battery plant before 2025 or 26. So again, Tesla's just left out. Ford will not even recognize them. As Farley, Ford CEO, said, "I don't know of any other company making this announcement. Why would you think we're behind? We are ahead." Well, again, it just sounds so hollow when we look at the numbers, because Farley also said that Ford has access to 20 gigawatt hours of batteries. So they are not gonna wait, they will ramp up now. But they will not be making more than about 50,000 Mach E's this year. So that is only about 4 gigawatt hours they will use this year. So if they have access to 20 gigawatt hours, well, it looks to me like they are actually waiting and not ramping up as fast as they could. One thing is for certain, Ford is not battery constrained at all if they have access to 20 gigawatt hours and only make 50,000 Mach E's this year. So again, a lot of talk and hype for something that is not happening now, but first in 4 to 5 years. As always, they are doing what Tesla did 10 years ago, and their factory are like 3 times smaller than Tesla's, and their 3 battery factories they are building right now has a capacity of 129 gigawatt hours, where Tesla's 1 factory in Texas will be producing about 250 gigawatt hours, and not in 5 years' time, but start production of Tesla's own battery, not in partnership with anyone, at the end of this year or start next year. But Ford still thinks they are leading the race. How? How? In what way? Your EV is good, but have been proven inferior to Tesla's EVs. They are not scaling up as Tesla is, not even close, but Ford doesn't even acknowledge this because they don't know of any other companies making such aggressive announcements as they do. So 1 million EVs that they will first start ramping up in 2025. They will not be able to do 1 million EVs in 2025. That is when they will start production at this factory, and then they have to ramp up to 1 million, and Tesla will at least be at 5 million in 2025. I would say Tesla's plan is slightly more aggressive there than Ford. But I do understand why they don't want to talk about Tesla and just stick their head in the sand like an ostrich, screaming, "There is no Tesla, there is no Tesla," just like the US government, because they are beating Ford in every single possible way. But when they are asked directly and cannot escape talking about Tesla, well, Jim actually had some good things to say about Tesla.
You mentioned competition and we mentioned innovation, and when you put those two combined against Ford, you have Tesla. So I'm wondering if you think, Jim, it's fair to compare Ford to Tesla or to any other electric vehicle company when this space is still heating up.
I respect what Tesla has done. I think Tesla's been one of the most important and positive things that's happened to our industry. And we love competition at Ford.
Those are some big words for Ford CEO. Respect, Jim. But unfortunately, the Ford Mach E fails a safety test. So, as I reported on last week, the Model Y was the Moose Test champ and did the test at 83 kilometers an hour, but the Mach E already struggled at low entry speed of only 65 kilometers an hour and failed as soon as it got over 70 kilometers an hour. And at 62 kilometers an hour, the Moose Test results suggested that the Mustang Mach E might be unable to stay on the road. Yeah, this was a disappointing result for the Ford EV, especially since the testers used a dual-motor all-wheel drive version of the vehicle. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 was tested together with the Mustang Mach E and did the Moose test just like Tesla Model Y. So I know Tesla gets a lot of hate and the legacy automakers are the ones that know how to make cars. But we just see time and time again that Tesla is beating the old guys on things they should be good at, like the Moose test, showing that Tesla handles better than the Mach E. And we have countless of demonstration of Tesla beating Audi and BMW on brake test and so on, even from German car reviewers. And we have seen that the Tesla Model Y is better at getting out of situations where some of their wheels are stuck compared to the Mach E. And we all know Tesla's performance is better than all the rest. So Tesla is not just a one-trick pony, good on a straight line. They are outperforming the legacy automakers on things they should be good at. But Tesla is just better. And let's take a look at the European EV market. Because it's not just Norway that Tesla is doing good. In Spain, Tesla is also the best-selling brand, and the Model 3 is leading the EV board, and even the Model Y has already become a top 10 selling EV. And while Tesla is growing its EV fleet in Spain, well, Volkswagen, that is all in on EVs, opens a new ICE production facility in Spain to produce its big ICE SUVs. Man, I don't even know what to say. This is not the move to make if you are truly all in on EVs. But let's have our weekly look at the EV capital of the world, Norway, that just had an EV market share of 77.5%, and that is BEV. Plug-in share was 91.5%. Wow. So how does September look? Well, Tesla is kind of bigger than the rest of the top 8 list of best-selling EVs in Norway combined. And Tesla stood for 32% of all car registrations in Norway in September. Car, not EV. That is crazy. But Tesla did also deliver almost every single car they have shipped to the country. Only 2 Model 3s left and 0 Model Ys. So it's back to shipping cars from China. Or even if we look at the Q3 sales in Norway, Tesla is still way ahead of the rest. And even year to date, Tesla is the best-selling car brand, about twice the amount of Volkswagen brand. But Volkswagen is still the biggest EV brand in Europe year to date, leading in front of Tesla with about 15,000 units. But I kind of still think that Tesla will, with the Model Y shooting to the moon, become the biggest brand in Europe by the end of the year. And just remember, when it comes to EVs in Europe, it is by far Volkswagen's biggest market. Probably something like 80% or more of their EV sales are in Europe. And even though Tesla is the number 2 brand here, Europe is only counting for something like 20% of Tesla's global sales. Just wait until they open their Gigafactory in Berlin. In 2022, Tesla will no doubt become the biggest in Europe as well. But another milestone for Chinese NIO is happening now in Europe. NIO's ES8, their biggest and most expensive and most luxurious EV, is hitting the streets of Norway. It will be priced at about $69,000 with the battery, but will be cheaper with the battery as a service. But I don't think many will buy the car without the battery in Norway, because there are still no swap stations in Norway. But by the end of 2022, NIO will build 20 powered swap stations in Norway, covering Norway's 5 largest cities and their main roads. The first integrated station of battery charging and swapping in Norway will be up and running by the end of October. I still don't think swap station is a good idea, because it will limit how many EVs NIOs will be able to make, because they need to have a lot of battery packs sitting around at their swap stations. So they will be missing all those batteries. But it will be very interesting to follow and see how NIO does in Norway, and see if the ES8 can keep up with Tesla's Model Y. That only costs $62,000 $2,000. And we also see a huge growth in Israel EV market thanks to Tesla. In the first 3 quarters of 2021, 7,800 electric cars entered Israel's roads. This represents 528% growth over this period of the year. Of those 7,800 EVs, Tesla's car makes up 4,689 units, which is 61% EV market share in Israel. Yeah, that's one hell of an interest to a new market. And Rivian is starting production of their R1T, and we got to see it in action. YouTuber Jerry Rick's Everything got the chance to test drive a Rivian in Colorado mountains and really do a full-on review of the car. If you haven't seen his video, you should. I will leave a link to his video down below. But so cool to see this pickup truck coming to life, because this really looks the part and has all the great specs. This car could do very, very well, especially in the US, where pickups are the best-selling vehicle. So going to be very interesting to see how fast Rivian will be able to ramp up production, because there is no doubt they have a great product and the demand is going to be there. Pickups are usually pretty expensive, and the type of customers Rivian are going for is not the working man that wants a cheap pickup, but the rich people that want to go out in nature and do some off-road and exploring. But it is one thing to make a working prototype or even make the first production work, but ramping that up is very, very hard. I will start to make a little sheet, keeping an eye on the different players in the game to see how fast they are actually able or willing, if we're talking about the legacy automakers, to ramp up production. An idea I got from a Danish guy called Morten that follows me that thought that would be very interesting, and so did I, because this is really what is going to matter, how fast the different automakers will be able to ramp up production of EVs, legacy or startup. This will determine how big they will be in the future, or if they will even be able to survive. Because we also learned that Lucid is finally also starting production of their Air Edition. With the start of production, Lucid also announced the first customer delivery of the Air will begin in late October. So another one to keep an eye on and see how they will ramp up. Because even though they have said something like 500 will be produced in 2021, and that sounds very, very low, well, if we compare that to GM's plan of making 1,500 Lyrics in 2023, well, Lucid has a very good chance of making a lot more EVs in 2023 than Cadillac will be able to deliver. And those two cars is kind of in competition with each other. But this is what I would like to make a sheet about, keeping a close eye on, so we can see who is mostly talk and who is actually ramping up EV production. Because we did see Mary Barra this week out saying, "We think General Motors is a tremendous growth story." I think people will see that General Motors is an auto tech company with really the next big software platform, and we are well positioned to grow. Well, I guess my idea of a growth story looks a little different than Mary's, because GM has only been going down for the last 6 years. Maybe Gordon Johnson will see this as a growth story. But you know, pretty much all the legacy automakers has been out talking about how they will be the leader in the EV race, but we still all know who is actually the leader in the EV race. And the Chinese automaker Geely is coming out with a truly affordable EV. Geely, which owns Volvo and Polestar, so we know they can make great EVs, has just announced the EX3. And this car is an SUV car with 500 liters of trunk space, so it is all good. But the starting price is going to be $9,200. Yes, cheaper than the tax credit Ford will get on their EVs in the US. This is truly an affordable EV. So of course they're going a little on compromise with the range. It only has about 325 NEDC range, so probably something like a couple of 100 kilometers WLTP range, or maybe something like 125-150 miles EPA, but will be able to charge from 0 to 80% in just 30 minutes, so not totally bad. And it should have a really good safety with dual airbags, reversing sensors and cameras, tire pressure monitoring system, as well as ABS and EBD. The model also comes with standard with high-strength steel in front and rear anti-collision bars. So all in all, a decent EV. But when we're talking about a price that is $9,200, this is an amazing bargain, right? It's allowed to have only a couple of 100 kilometers of range for that price. Unlike the Mazda MX-30 that has similar range, but costs 3 to 4 times more. That car is not allowed to cost as much as it does. So the EX3 is nothing like the Wuling Mini EV that GM is actually helping produce, with no safety feature whatsoever, no room whatsoever, and they only earn about $14 in profit on this one. So that is kind of crazy. But the EX3 is an electric SUV with good trunk space and much more range than the average driver uses per day. This car will flood the market in China if they can produce it in high volume, of course. And because it is so cheap, it could very well be coming to Europe as well and could become a really well-selling EV. So definitely want to keep an eye on when it comes to production. And we're getting a gas station in space. Rideshare organizer Spaceflight Incorporated and propellant depot startup Orbit Fab have revealed plans for the first high Earth orbit propellant depot. Known as Tanker 002, the co-developer spacecraft will be the first propellant depot, essentially a gas station in space. This is so cool, and as they wrote on Twitter, we are excited to soon launch the first propellant tank to geostationary orbit. Nice. And of course it will be SpaceX that is flying all of this to space. Who else? Blue Origin? They haven't even gotten to geostationary orbit yet, and as Elon just said in an interview, going to orbit is 100 times harder than low Earth orbit. So yes, as Elon said, Jeff and Blue Origin can't sue themselves to the moon. They need to focus on getting to orbit instead of suing Tesla all the time. And SpaceX did return the Dragon spacecraft from the International Space Station, completing SpaceX's 23rd cargo resupply mission to the International Space Station. And the Starship SN20 passed a proof test, so we are getting closer to the absolute crazy test flight of the Super Heavy booster system. Going to be absolutely mind-blowing. What else is mind-blowing is the Inspiration 4. If you haven't seen the Netflix series about this yet, you should. It's very inspiring. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. So we see Tesla's smaller factory in Prüm in Germany is almost complete as well, but we still don't officially know what this factory is for. Is it a European supercharger factory, battery factory, robot factory, or just an R&D center for production? Still don't know, but hopefully Tesla will reveal something about this place soon. And Tesla filed a trademark application for the Cyberquad, their electric ATV. Oh yes. Online search for electric cars in the UK exploded 1,600% on September 24th, the day the gas shortage became a widespread problem across the country. Just another catalyst for the EV revolution. And we learned that Berlin has basically been approved. Not yet official, but it should be ready to rock and roll. Maybe as early as November. That would be so cool, and I am going down there on Friday to see if I can get into the factory tour. So stay tuned for that, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I will also try to get something out to my patrons and members only, so stay tuned for that, guys. And I have talked about it many times on my full self-driving videos. What Waymo is doing is not really that impressive because we already have full self-driving buses in many countries around the world, including my own here in Denmark. But here is just another video of a full self-driving bus in China. Yeah. Geofenced autonomous vehicles are nothing special, and it's not level 5, and this bus even looks more confident than the Waymo taxi. And the Tesla Model 3 is also the best-selling EV in New Zealand. Here is the list of the top-selling cars in New Zealand, and the Tesla Model 3 is even the second best-selling car overall. And Consumer Reports are making a fool of themselves again, saying Tesla's safety score is dangerous. Oh man, all those Tesla haters are getting really desperate. Last month, Tesla Chinese R&D Center was reportedly nearing completion. The R&D Center will be designing the prototype of Tesla's highly anticipated $25,000 car. The Tesla career page revealed that Tesla has opened several jobs for its R&D Center. And Sawyer on Twitter wrote, "I've been told that Tesla's Giga Shanghai R&D Center will be operational immediately, and there is an explosion of projects brewing. Very, very exciting." And we know Tesla's Megapacks are pretty much sold out until the end of 2022, but Tesla just keeps getting huge orders for their Megapack system. Rivian signs an agreement for 6 gigawatt-hours of Tesla's Megapack system. Now, that is huge. And we did see some Rivian chargers up in the national parks. Very cool to see. It was of course being used by a Tesla. Tesla's legal department in China continues its hard work to combat disinformation against the company. The manufacturer reportedly is suing the woman who protested on the roof of a Tesla car at the auto show in Shanghai in 2021 for significant brand damage, because we also found out that she did lie about the brake failures and that the man was driving way above the speed limit. That crash has nothing to do with Tesla's cars, other than the man that was responsible for this crash was driving a Tesla. And Tesla will be opening their first dedicated vehicle delivery center in Japan on November the 1st. Nice. And the new refreshed Model X that we have not heard anything about was spotted at the Fremont factory, so they are probably getting ready to ramp up production in Q4. Nice. And Tesla is looking to significantly increase headcounts at Cato Road facility in Fremont to support 4680 cell production. Ooh, sounds like they are getting ready for the ramp up here. Tesla shared this picture of a solar roof in Aspen, and Elon retweeted it and wrote, "With Tesla solar roof and Powerwall battery, you are your own utility. 24/7 clean, sustainable electricity." And from now on, London will only buy electric buses. So cool. Let's hear it from the mayor himself.
London is moving only to zero-emission buses. From today, TfL will only be buying zero-emission buses, no diesel or hybrid buses.
The use of bus in London is one of the key transport modes, so we have to make sure it's healthy and it's sustainable. We're looking at investment into healthier buses and zero-emission buses. We're also thinking about educating the people in London to consider using bus as an absolute option instead of the car.
It can't be right that in great cities like ours, London, the air we breathe is so toxic, contributing to premature deaths and children growing up with stunted lungs. For me, zero-emission buses are a win-win, a real game changer. They're cleaner and greener. And by ordering more, we're not only helping to clean up our air and reduce carbon emissions, but we're boosting the green economy and helping to support jobs across the country. We need to act now to accelerate our transition to a greener future with cleaner air for all.
And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest patrons and members of this YouTube channel. James Conner, Johan Gustafsson, Carol Gustafsson, Andrew Sarah. And I thank you for watching, member Solar Arch 21, Morgan Madej, and my best in Tesla superheroes, Daniel Murphy, and Fred Hardy, and Leonard Kretz. Thank you all so much for your generous support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. We all know how much hate Tesla has got through the years for all their uneven panel gaps and build quality. But let's see what Sandy Monroe had to say about the EV Mini Cooper made by BMW.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Wait, well, is this a hybrid? No. This is quite large, and then it tapers down to almost nothing. I can't even get my fingernail in. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This and this should all be the same. No. See, I'm so used to the little advantages you get with that Model 3. I expect everything to just automatically pop up and whatnot. Down here, it's tight, 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 loose, 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 loose. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Do we really want to have a filler door that we're going to have to massage probably 2 or 3 times on the assembly line? Or do we want to do something like what Tesla did and put it into a tail light or a marker or something like that? Good news. They only got 1 latch. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Wait, well, is this a hybrid? No. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I've got an idea. Let's make it so that we can make it look like an engine is in here. And then we can be profitable.
You know what's real refreshing, Sandy, is
Refreshing? What's the range of this thing?
120.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. But then what do I know? I'm only the piano player.
That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only, so don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.